my name is Kim Klinko. I am an Open SciEd teacher as well as facilitator. Here we are in Lesson 13. Lesson 13 is all about odors and smells. This is a really fun lesson, quick, easy, one-day lesson that students seem to get a kick out of. I hope you do too. If you remember, lesson 12 is where we figured out everything about how a bath bomb works. That in a chemical reaction, the amount of matter at the beginning is the same amount of matter at the end, and this is because all of the atoms we start with are still there. No new atoms can appear. We also reviewed the difference between chemical reactions, phase changes, and dissolving. And so when we looked at our driving question board at the end of that lesson, we were left with this missing section all about smells and odors. And so here we are in lesson 13 to figure that out. This is a one-day lesson and does take a minimum of 20 minutes to set up or less, depending on the materials you get when you order kits or not. You will take some time to navigate to this lesson, congratulating your students on coming this far and reminding them that we were left with some questions. We'll prepare for an odor lab, and then we will actually carry out that odor lab and do a reading together. And then finally, students will develop an explanation about smells and odors. And at the end of this lesson, students will figure out odor is a property of a substance. It's determined by the number and type and arrangement of atoms that make up that substance. They'll learn about molecules traveling to our nose, and that our nose has many different cells, and that our brain helps us to understand what those smells are. After a quick setup, we're going to jump to part 3. This is the odor lab itself. Here you're going to have 4 vials with different substances in them for your groups to smell. You're going to want to demonstrate how to waft your odors for students so they know not to stick their nose straight into anything. That's a big safety issue. And then you'll go over the procedures and hand out a lab handout so that they can record what they notice about the different smells in the vials. And as you can see in this image, you have a plastic vial with a cotton ball and a few drops of the liquid version of any of the smells. For example, one of them is lavender. It comes in a dropper. You drop a few on the cotton ball, and then you close the cap part that has the holes in it, and then the red cap finally keeps the container closed. Once students have finished the lab and analyzed these molecular models of different images, they're going to try to match up those molecular models with the odors themselves. It's a really fun lab. You might need to prepare the vials in advance. And again, this just requires you to take a cotton ball, a few drops of the substance, and place it inside a vial that has a cover with some holes on the top so that students can't touch the odor, but they can smell through those holes when they waft properly. Some kits actually have these pre-prepared for them. So if you do have a kit that is given by or approved by Open SciEd, then you might want to check ahead of time and see what you have available. Other than that, it would take you approximately 20 minutes for that setup. Consider any safety issues that you might have for students who have serious allergies or have sensitivities to certain odors. Occasionally, you'll have a student who says it smells too much, so if you can open some windows or give them an option to leave the room, that's also something to consider for your population. In this lesson, you're going to be working toward the NGSS performance expectation of MSLS 1-8. This reads, gather and synthesize information that sensory receptors respond to stimuli by sending messages to the brain for immediate behavior storage as memories. And so this is one lesson that really does work towards that performance expectation. There are no new words added to this lesson and no posters needed or used here as well. I hope you have fun smelling different smells. Next up, the final assessment for this unit. You're almost there. You can do it.